Warning, we are not trained or licensed professionals. Do not take any advice that we give as official doctoral prescribed medical treatment. We only use the name as a means to appreciate cinema as a therapeutic device, not to be confused with drugs, antidepressants, or any other forms of enhancements that you might find in legal states. Please enjoy responsibly.
Additional disclaimer. If the film says we can say it too. So check the film rating, and that will be our episode rating.
Hi. Hello. Do
Hello.
you how do?
Do you
Kicking
how
it
do?
right off with the SpongeBob references.
It's been great. It's been great. I'm Madison.
I'm Jake, obviously.
We are your
Unless this is your
therapists.
first time, which
Yes.
yes,
this
we
is
are
your first
therapists.
time. So this week we have a very good, awesome, superb movie. Therapeutic. We're going to talk about. We've talked about it many times before. I'm sure you're sick of us talking about it already, but here's a whole episode about it, so you better get ready.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. It's a long-awaited When Marnie Was There was the movie we watched this week. It is a Studio Ghibli movie.
Tomato.
And it came out in what year?
2014.
Okay, that's
It
what I
is
thought.
their latest film because they took a very long hiatus, which is still happening now. But I think Hayao Miyazaki came back to do another movie. He came out of retirement again for like the 5th time, but I would never complain about that.
Nice. Good job.
He had nothing to do with this movie, but that's like the next movie that the studio's going to.
Oh, okay.
be
Who directed this
making.
one?
The same director as The Secret World of Yuri. I don't know the name. I'd have to. It's a name I don't want to mispronounce, but I'm probably gonna butcher, so I apologize.
Okay.
One moment. Let me just go to their feature films list. Hiromasa Yonibayashi.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a Japanese anime film, if you don't know what Studio Ghibli is. But they did other movies such as Spirited Away, that one about the Ponyo, the little fishy.
Yes. Ponyo, Arrietty, Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have some of the best animated films ever made, and their animation is always very beautiful. Also, Grave of the Fireflies, which, in my opinion, is the saddest movie ever made.
I still am afraid to watch it, but I think I need to soon.
I watched it on a car ride once, and then I couldn't even finish it. And then my friend had lent it to me. Shout out. And then when I saw him again, I'm like, I have to watch the ending of this with you because I know what's coming and I can't take it, and I had to turn it off. And
Oh no!
and it was so sad. But it's beautiful too, and it has a really, it's very, very good.
I mean, I even think When Marnie Is There is kind of sad, you know.
Oh, for sure, undeniably.
And so, how much sadder is Grave of the Fireflies than When Marnie Was There?
Well,
Like
I would
on a
say
scale.
Marnie is more. I don't know if you can really put it on a scale. I would say Marnie is more like a reflective kind of sadness, like where you have like the bittersweetness of like, man, this moment in life is really sad, but this moment's really good, and you try to find like the balance of both. Whereas Grave of the Fireflies is like numbing pain and sorrow for 90
God.
minutes and just brutality. And it is a movie set during the war. It's very much on the level of Saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List, where you just have this overwhelming despair. But then the ending to all three of those movies actually is very beautiful and heartfelt. So
Yeah. Okay.
but it's a movie I'll probably never watch again.
Wow. Dang.
You only need to see it once. I still remember it fairly vividly, and I saw it before this actually, because it was one of the first, not one of the first, but like one of the earlier ones of this studio that I saw.
Dang. Okay.
And I figured you'd ask me this, so I'll just answer it. I've seen all of their movies except for 6 of them. I've seen all of Miyazaki's that he's directed for the studio, and including the ones that he didn't direct for the studio. I've seen all his features, and I've seen all but 6 of Studio Ghibli films.
Okay. Good job.
Thank you.
Got to cross those off.
Yeah, I will cross those off sometime, but you know, it's funny because I stopped blind buying movies like in the last few months, because just because I realized I don't want to keep doing that. Mm-hmm. And that's how I would see quite a few of these. My friend has this box set where he has, I think it's a bootleg, but it has like almost all of them on DVD, and then he has like a few other ones on Blu-ray, so he has like pretty much all of them.
Nice.
But then like there's a couple that I bought where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy this and like watch it.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Cat Returns, which is Liz's favorite. So,
That one's good, I think.
which ironically, that's a sequel to my friend who I just mentioned, like 5 times. His favorite movie is Whisper of the Heart, which is the first one of the duology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have not
Cat
seen very
Returns is the
many Studio Ghibli.
You can say whatever you want. You'll probably get crucified in the comments
Nope,
either way
I'm not.
if we had a bunch of people.
I'm just gonna say Studio Ghibli.
Sure. You say what you want. Also, Star Wars is toxic, so which it is.
Yeah, who's gonna be crucified now?
Yeah, he's gonna be crucified now. The Last Jedi was good. Rise of Skywalker was not. That movie seriously affected my mental state for like a year. So I will never. I can't talk. Why did I bring that up? Let's talk about something else.
No more Star Wars.
Yeah, Studio Ghibli. You were talking about that. Yeah, that's part of what makes it so sad is that there's no more Star Wars, and that was the last one, and it's such a sour taste in my mouth.
There will be more Star Wars.
Yeah, but they say it's the end, and if they make 10 through 12, I'm probably not going to see it.
Yeah, but they'll be good by the time they come out.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But anyway, do you want to do a recap of this film?
Sure, I would love to. So you please finish your thought, because you were saying about how you had seen just a few of the Studio Ghibli movies.
My friend gave me Spirited Away for one of my birthdays. I think it was like my 9th or 10th birthday, and I watched that a lot. But that's really the only one I'm super familiar with. I watched a few with that same friend too, which I think, like, what's it called? Whisper of the Heart? Or
Yeah, Whisper of the Heart.
Whisper of the Heart and The Cat Returns, I think I watched. And Howl's Moving Castle I watched with you.
No, we watched Castle in the Sky. We
watched Castle in the Sky. Okay, so I think I watched Howl's Moving Castle with her. I didn't see Ponyo, but yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, Ponyo is like, after you watch Grave of the Fireflies, watch like Ponyo or My Neighbor Totoro, because those two movies are just like comfort food. They're so precious. Ponyo especially is like one of the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. It's just so freaking cute and hysterical and just precious and sweet. Yeah, okay. So this movie starts off with a girl named Anna who has asthma, and she's having asthma attacks, and they get so bad that her guardian tells her that her guardian and her doctor send her to go live with her relatives, the Oiwas. I think that's how you say it. And they live in the country where the air is clean and all that stuff. So she goes out for a walk one day because she's, an artist, and she goes to sketch this house, and she sees this old, beautiful marsh house, and she just becomes entranced with it. So then she spends most of her time just drawing it, and every now and then she'll look up, and she goes to the house and it's deserted, but every now and then she'll look up, and then she sees this girl in the window, and then she's like, is the house really deserted? Is it not? One night she's going with some other local girls to this, I think it's like some kind of lighting ceremony or something like that.
Like a festival.
Yeah, it's a thanks. I couldn't think of the word. It's like I just think it's ceremony. It's like some kind of festival, and on the night of the festival, she ends up trying to just be there with the other girls, but then stuff happens and she runs away, and then she ends up back at where the house is, and then the lights are on, and then she ends up getting in the rowboat and rowing across the water to the house, and she meets this girl named Marnie. And then they strike up a friendship, and they spend their time together, and they agree to keep each other a secret, and just that kind of thing. And then they end up becoming really good friends, and maybe even more, and spending time together and revealing how both of their home lives are not very good, and how they kind of wish that they could take the other ones until they're like, hey, my life sucks and your life sucks too, so hey, bonding over trauma, more power to you. So then one day Anna's drawing the house, and she meets this other older woman who's also painting the house, and she says, oh, I love that house too, and they bond over that. And then it finds out that there's new people moving into the house, so it's this little girl and her older brother. Then the little girl and Anna find this diary that belongs to a girl named Marnie, and then a lot of the events that happened in the diary happened to Anna with Marnie. They experienced a lot of the same experiences. And so they read about the events that have been unfolding in the movie, Then they never really explain how it works, like the time thing, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. No, it doesn't matter. Then the next day, Anna meets Marnie again, because the reason why she found out there's new people in the house is because they hadn't seen each other for like a week, which the diary also says, which I just picked up on watching it this time, was that that's why they don't see each other for a week, because there's like a week, like in the diary, Marnie says something like, it's been a week since I've, like gone in the rowboat or seen Anna. Or Marnie tells Anna that the people, because their parents live there, but they're gone a lot on business, so she lives with her nan and the maids, and they're just terrible to her. When she was a little girl, they took her up to the silo and tried to force her to go in there and said it was haunted and all that creepy stuff. And then the reason they didn't go in was because there was this big storm. So then Anna's like, okay, Marnie, we have to go to the silo and conquer your fear. So then she takes her up to the silo, but then there's a big storm that happens again, and they end up spending the night there. And then when she wakes up in the morning, this other friend of Marnie's, this boy, comes by, and then Marnie leaves with him, and then Anna wakes up by herself, and she's obviously really upset and hurt and confused. The younger girl and her older brother find Anna on the side of the road, and she's got a fever, so then they take her back to the Oiwa's house, her aunt and uncle's house. Anna goes back to, in her like feverish state, goes back to Marnie, and then she's like, why did you leave me? And then they have a little back and forth, and then Marnie's like, I have to go, and then they admit they love each other. And then once Anna gets better, she goes and meets the woman who is painting, what's her name? Hisako, that's her name. So she goes back to Hisako, the woman who is painting the house, and Hisako says that when Marnie married her boyfriend and they had a daughter, and then when the father died, Marnie was in a sanatorium because she was, dealing with a lot of stuff. So she sent her daughter off to boarding school, and then her daughter came back, and she was, after a few years, and said, hey, I'm going to get married. And then she and her husband were killed, so then Marnie took their child, who was her granddaughter. And then when Anna's guardian comes to, pick her up at the end of her stay, she gives her a picture of the house, and on the back it says it's from Marnie. And then it turns out that Marnie was Anna's grandma. And then Anna just leaves, and she's feeling better about herself because she's gone through a lot of self-hatred and self-loathing. So,
whew, what a trip this movie is.
What a trip that synopsis was. I mean, my God, that the last time I did it was fine, like for Breakfast Club, but that was like terrible.
No, you're good.
So I did not know this. This movie was nominated for Best Animated Feature, the Academy Award.
Oh, nice.
Which I don't know what won that year, but it should have won.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was these were its competitors: Shaun the Sheep, Boy and the World, Anomalisa, and then Inside Out. So I take back what I said.
What, you like Inside Out?
I like Inside Out a lot. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this one better though.
I don't know. I'm torn because as a whole, like, both are really good.
Yeah.
I want to say I like this one more, but then like Inside Out is like also super emotional at the end. So like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I love Inside Out as much as like a lot of people do, but I still think it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
And then it has the Pixar ending, so that's what gives it the edge.
Of course.
Although this movie has the Ghibli ending, so.
This ending, oh my God, when we first watched it, I was just like, my jaw dropped, and I was like, what the heck? Are you kidding me? Marnie is Anna's grandma? I thought they were in love.
I've shown this movie to 3 different friends, and one of my friends first showed it to me. Every time, including myself, every person who's watched this movie for the first time has that exact same reaction. Like, no joke.
Okay, because they portray it in such like a romantic love way. Like they do it on purpose. They do it on purpose.
It's totally on purpose. I refuse to believe it's not.
No. They have to know what they're doing. Because I think but it's also like if your grandma lived, I mean, your grandma, she's in an older generation, and usually back then not really accepting of homosexuality. I think if your grandma didn't even know
I don't know if it's the sentence or if it's the way you can't say that word.
if your grandma didn't realize that homosexuality was a thing, then I could see this as just your grandma being loving toward you. You know, she just wants you to know that she loves you and she's there for you and she cares about you. But only if she had no idea that like same gender romances, I'm going to say that instead, existed, you know, because I could kind of see that. It's just like a grandma like loving you, hugging you, telling you how much she loves you, you know, but because it's not like she actually like kisses her on the mouth or something, but everything we see is just so romanticized. I just find it hard to believe that they didn't fool us on purpose.
Yeah, honestly, and the way they spend their time together is just like the most romantic things. Like they're going on like boat rides, and when at like twilight, they're having a picnic. They're walking around and sharing like really deep like trauma and all of that. And then they slow dance and like, what's the word? Like Anna's like she gets flustered a lot, and then you know there's a lot of hand holding and long gazing and
yes. Hugging,
you know,
lots of hugging.
Yeah, there's no kissing though. It happened one night, didn't have a kiss either.
Yeah.
I like this romance more than that one.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's just like, what? I just can't get over it ever.
Should we just spend the rest of the episode just like as if this is a romance, because it absolutely is.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, because
if you just took out that like one moment when she says like you held on to this picture, it belonged to your grandma, like the rest of the movie like still works, because it's not like that fully explains how they're interacting and everything. So you could just take it as like a subjective interpret it however you want kind of story.
Do you think that Marnie knew that Anna was her granddaughter? Or
interesting question.
Do you think she just was? I think she did, because she's like, you have to forgive me so I can move on, basically, for leaving you. Because Anna's whole thing was like she felt betrayed and abandoned and not really loved. So like her parents died, left her behind, and then her grandma died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and left her behind, obviously. And
she's dead.
Because she's dead, because she's a ghost, because she's Marnie. The Oiwas, her foster parents' relatives, warn her about the ghosts at the Marsh house and everything, but it doesn't really occur to her that she is a ghost until much later on. That's our hint at, oh, what is this? Maybe she is a ghost, because sometimes the lights are on, sometimes the house looks completely abandoned. But then they have this scene where they go in and it's like a big old party that her parents are having, and so like it's a pretty extravagant ghost party. What's it called? It's like where you're not experiencing ghosts that are conscious. You're experiencing like energy that's just being relived, reminiscent, you know,
reminiscent
energy of ghosts. Yeah,
sure, that works.
Okay. But yeah,
that's the beauty of all movies, but especially like abstract ones, like that's the word, abstract ones like this, because you know you can really interpret it any way you want. You know, I mean, first of all, we totally interpret it as a Yuri. So there you go. That's the first thing. Maddie, if you don't know, Yuri is an anime that's a lesbian romance.
Oh, okay.
Yaoi is gay romance between two men, and Yuri is lesbian.
Okay.
First of all. Second of all, I just, when you said like does Marnie know that they're related, I kind of thought it was more like if Anna went back to when Marnie was actually there, you know, hence that title. It kind of makes sense, but it also doesn't fully connect. But that I guess that's kind of what I was wondering, was like, if you look at it that way, like Anna's going back to the time that Marnie was there, then when Marnie's like older and taking care of her as a child, like that's when she would know. Like that's when she's like, hey, you were the person I met like so many years ago. But then what you said about like the last scene they share together makes that kind of not make sense.
Yeah, I don't think so, because in her diary, I don't think she mentions Anna. It's just like all the things that she does with Kazuhiko.
Oh, yeah.
And like Kazuhiko's the one who rescues her from the silo, not Anna. And then they have this part where, oh yeah, in the silo, Marnie keeps calling Anna Kazuhiko.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah.
So it's like she's remembering that time, but in the wrong way because of Kazuhiko, who she eventually gets married to. So I think it's like she has to come back, or she has been stuck there maybe, waiting for Anna to get there, reliving her childhood, so that when she meets Anna, she can be set free.
Yeah, wow. I didn't think of it that way. I just saw it as a time traveling romance. And the last 10 minutes is like, nope. And then I'm like, huh? Okay.
What?
What?
So weird.
It's weird.
But yeah, like, there was something else I was going to say about the romance.
Yeah, let's just talk about the romance, because that's like the best part of the movie.
Oh, it kind of reminded me of Call Me By Your Name. You know, it's like she's only there for the summer.
Yes.
And there's just something romantic about being somewhere for a specific amount of time and falling in love with someone. It's like, oh, but our time is limited. Whatever will we do? And I don't know. There's something about it that's like summer romance, you know, that there's so many stories about it.
Mm-hmm. Like there's one movie I'm thinking of.
Grease?
Yeah, actually Grease, but I was thinking of a different one first.
From The Great Outdoors?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think there's literally a scene when they're in a boat, and that's what they're talking about. It's like, we only have limited time.
Yes.
I gotta go to Africa. Yeah, no, I completely agree with the connection to Call Me By Your Name. And both movies just kind of hit on the same like level. They're both just, and it's not just the fact that they're both about, you know, gay and lesbian LGBT romance, but they're just both movies that, like, the look of the movies is really similar in the atmosphere. They both take place pretty much in an older house, and there's a lot of scenes like in the water and in the grass and at night, and like it just has that same sort of vibe. And that'd be a really interesting double feature, actually. And both of those movies have very emotional endings, very similar endings, except Call Me By Your Name does not be like, oh, it's your grandfather, because that'd be even weirder. But other than that, they do have very similar kind of endings.
Yeah.
In a way.
Well, I think also in a way they trick us is that Anna's character looks like a boy. You know, she's dressed in polos and long shorts, kind of like a stereotypical butch lesbian, I guess. And she's got short hair. So, like, they didn't have to do that. You know, there's no explanation for why she looks like that other than to trick us into thinking that this is a lesbian relationship. And maybe she is actually gay, but, well, I guess probably she is. But how is she going to feel about that now that she figures out her first love was her grandmother? That's going to mess her up.
Yeah, that's why I like to pretend it didn't happen, because like, but I mean, really, like, it's just, yeah.
Right.
All right. Yeah. So moving away from the whole aspect that makes it weird, it's getting weird. Moving away from that, do you have a favorite like scene that's between the two of them, or like a scene you think is the most romantic, and why?
Oh boy.
It's a hard question. So
I probably do, but I'm trying to think all the way through the movie again.
I don't know if I shared this with you, but this is something I'm sure I did. Oh, it just sent. Hang on. Now it's sent.
It took me a minute. Did you just do that yesterday?
No, I did that in June. That's what my photo says. But like I somehow miraculously timed it to when she like rows the oar. It like matches the music.
Yeah, I would have thought totally it was the actual music of the movie. So it's like a scene. Jake just sent me this video of the scene where Marnie is standing on the edge of the boat while
she's flying,
while Anna is rowing, and Jake put his own Titanic music in the background. It lines up perfectly.
I gotta put that in the Instagram post. Speaking of Call Me By Your Name, there's a AMV that has Mystery of Love, the song from that movie, like set to this movie, and it's like, man, I wish that song was in this movie. Like, but yeah, we can put that in the description too of the episode. Okay.
I think I like the scene where they're at the party and they're dancing.
Yeah. Also, she totally gets jealous that she's that she's dancing with someone else.
Yeah. Like, what about you? What's your most romantic moment?
Ooh, I'd have to think about it. But yeah. I think life. breaks free. Life finds a way. I gave it a cold. I gave it a virus. Oh my god! Now I just want to watch like Jeff Goldblum movies all day long. But I like it's like that one. It's like a couple scenes, like a sequence when they're on that little like bridge in the forest, and then they're just like talking about like Anna's talking about how like her foster parents like get money for raising her or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the next scene, like they're down in the sand building a sand castle, and then Marnie's talking about how you know the people in her house aren't treating her well either, and it's just like, you know, just like sharing like each other's experiences, and they like hug like 2 or 3 times, and it's just really adorable. It goes without being said, but the animation in this movie is absolutely beautiful.
And all the backgrounds and everything. So pretty.
I don't know how long it was, but for a while my computer background was the shot of them at night, like on the boat.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And then my phone background was the one I mentioned where they're on that little like bridge.
Oh, okay, nice.
It's not anymore, but it was for like a few months because I didn't have anything else to put, and I'm like, this is good. I love the Oiwas, that foster aunt and uncle. They're great.
Yeah, they were really good. And at the end, when her foster mom comes to get her, and she's like, "Thank you so much," and the Oiwas were like, "We didn't do anything," and I was like, "Yeah, you really didn't."
Yeah,
you had to just let her go off and hang out with ghosts all day and ride in a boat with a strange man.
Yeah, which is kind of what she needed anyway, just to go with a ghost.
Oh,
for
for
the day.
sure.
Her ghost girlfriend.
So she actually like overcame a lot of her social anxiety, and because on top of the asthma, I think she suffered from that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like totally introverted, complete social anxiety.
Yeah, because she's like mean to some of the girls, but she can't really help it. She just like says what comes out of her mouth, and then gets overwhelmed with crowds of people and everything. But then Marnie helps her overcome that. It's a good representation of it, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I do not want to take away from that moment, but it's also a good representation for LGBT. I've seen different reviews and articles online about how this, like, a lot of people really did feel that way about the movie, and how, you know what I mean, like people who are LGBT or something, they really related to, you know, that part of the movie. So that's why the ending's kind of like, I guess you could call it a slap in the face in that sort of way, but I don't want to take words out of other people's mouths and put it into mine. But on a lighter note, both of the houses, both the Oiwa's house and the mansion, are places I would love to like take a vacation in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, not when it's deserted, obviously, but like
right. Like when after the renovations that the new family's doing, I'd like to go.
I love that also very much like Frozen 2. This is a quote unquote kids movie, but it deals with so many heavy themes, and it doesn't talk down to its audience at all. I just love that so much. Like it's so much better than some movie that's like, oh yay, running around, flashing lights, poop, haha. Like,
right,
it's not that. It's like it actually talks about trauma and anxiety, and, you know, coping with loss of loved ones, and how, you know, whether you feel you're, you know, being mistreated or being, you know, not being treated well enough or given enough care, and all of that. Yeah. And having those deep relationships that really last you for a long time, and sometimes for lifetimes.
Right. And it's rated PG, right? So it's like put out there for kids to watch, and I think it's a good thing that
it's intense though. Like,
it is intense.
I don't know if this was the same for you, but when I watched it on my TV, like the scene when they get to the silo, the sound effects for the storm, like the thunder and lightning, are so much louder compared to anything else in the movie. It's just overpowering. It's great.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is. It's very intense. That's also a really great romantic moment.
Yeah, I like that part, because that's kind of also when we start to get more hints that Marnie's her grandma. I think the first hint that we get, it's very subtle, but the girl from the village who Anna calls a fat pig says that Anna's eyes are blue like foreigners, and so are Marnie's. And then we discover later that, like, well, obviously she's blonde, so she's she doesn't look like she's from Japan. And her dad is like blonde as well. And so I think that's like really subtle foreshadowing, but then we kind of get more into it when they're in the silo, and Anna starts to go into her fever dream state and starts dreaming about, or kind of remembering when she was a child and having her grandma stroke her forehead when she's sleeping, singing the song that they dance to.
Yeah.
I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so then we're like, oh, okay, what is this? What's happening here? And then it kind of gets more intense until the end when we finally have the big reveal of Hisako telling the whole story of Marnie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the silo part is very intense.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the girl that, I forget her name, but the one that Anna calls fat, that one, she reminds me of the girl from The Boy Who Could Fly.
Yes.
Who, like they both have similar hair, they both wear pink, and then they both kind of bug me because, like, in this movie, like, it's not really her fault because, like, Anna's being completely introverted, but then she's, like, invading her personal space and asking her a lot of questions, and, like, she writes a wish down and she's, like, takes it out of her hand, and then in A Boy Who Could Fly, it's like the other girl's doing the same thing. She's getting Lucy drunk and, like,
yeah, just being annoying.
like invasive and asking about her dad who died, and, like,
right, yeah. It's like, girl, just shut up.
Yeah, it's very similar. There's a cameo in this movie. The main character from Castle in the Sky, her name is Sheeta, and the character, she's the one that gives Anna her, like, a little piece of paper to write her wish on.
Oh.
But in both versions, the sub and the dub, it's not the same voice actress, which is really unfortunate because if Anna Paquin was in this movie for 30 seconds, that'd be amazing.
Who is that?
She's
she's
the voice of her. She also is Rogue in the X-Men movies.
Oh.
The other minor connecting tissue I wrote was so when Anna calls the girl fat and then she runs away and meets Marnie, the girl's mom goes to the Oiwa's house and, like, starts complaining about Anna, and then when she leaves, Mrs. Oiwa's like, here, take a flashlight, it's dark out, and she's like, no thank you, I'm gonna go off in the dark. And then I'm like, yeah, you got killed by Jason. We see you at the end of the movie, but you got killed by Jason.
That's her ghost.
Yeah, then she becomes a ghost for the other girl.
There's always going to be someone stuck at the Marsh house.
Yeah.
The music's great.
I was just going to, that's what I was going to, yeah.
Nuh-uh.
But that was the next thing I wrote down on the list. The music is great. Like, it's incredible.
It's so introspective.
Yeah.
Meditative.
Yes. It's not Joe Hisashi who does, I think that's how you say his name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, but he does a lot of the scores
Steve
for Miyazaki's
Buscemi?
movies. No, Joe Hisashi. That's Steve Buscemi. Wiley. That's also great. When he goes on that ride by his feet. Go down by your feet. By my feet? What do you care? You're an animal. I'm an animal. Sorry.
What's that from?
That's from Grown Ups.
Oh,
you know
okay.
Steve Buscemi's in that? Did you know that?
Yeah. I
There's,
haven't
like, the
seen that in
scene-
forever.
Yeah, there's, like, the scene when they're at the water park and then they're going down, like, that one dangerous slide, like, and then, like, he goes by his feet and, like, crashes into the shed or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's weird that I know a scene from that movie, but I could probably quote a lot of that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying?
It's not Steve Buscemi who does the music.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? Music by Steve Buscemi. Wins an Oscar. Good job, Steve. And then there's, like, that line he has in Spy Kids 2 where it gets, like, really deep and philosophical.
Yes, I remember that one.
Great cinematic classic. I love that movie. But yeah, Joe Hisashi, I believe that's how you say his name. He does a lot of the music for, I believe, a lot of Miyazaki films, but he does it for, he's a composer for Castle in the Sky. Even though he did not compose this, I looked it up, and I'm not going to try pronouncing the person who did the music for this because it's a very, I don't want to mispronounce it because it's a very long name. I was going to ask you when you thought, like, each timeline took place. Like, when Marnie's a kid versus when Anna's, like, you know, there.
Oh, like, what year?
Yeah, or, like, what decade.
Yeah, I was wondering, too. I feel like Anna's timeline is still in the past. Maybe, like... Well, of course, I was like, I don't know what Japan looks like in any of those decades, but...
Yeah.
So I kind of was like, I don't really know how I can assume what decade it is, but it seemed to me that when Marnie's timeline, when they're at the party They're in very like old-timey clothes. They're smoking cigarettes through those long like cigarettes, like in the 20s.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe Marnie grew up in the 20s or 30s, and then Anna is maybe in like the 70s.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. Because there's not like any technology really.
No, there isn't. But I really like that about the movie. It makes me want to go like live somewhere that's like just beautiful nature. There's like not a lot of technology.
Mm-hmm. And all you can do is just sketch all day.
And meet a ghost that you fall in love with who turns out to be a relative. Minus that last part. Yeah, so the music was done by, I'm going to butcher this, Takatsuku Muramatsu.
Okay.
So if I butchered that, since I butchered that, I'm very sorry. Yeah, so this is my first time watching this movie subbed, and when you and I watched it, we watched the dub, obviously. And I really think both are very good. I think they're about equal in my head, but I prefer the dub because it's what I saw first, and it's what I fell in love with first.
Mm.
But I still think both versions still have the romantic connotation to them. Like it's not totally a dub thing. I think there's still romantic undertones in the sub as well.
Definitely.
There's a line that's only in the sub version, because in the dub version Anna just says to Marnie, "Come with me," but in the sub version she says, "Come to my room." And then I'm like, that's a little odd, but but I remember when I heard that, I'm like, okay, Maddie, I'm sending you a picture of this.
Yes.
Out of context, and then you were just like, okay, hold up.
I thought that it said, "Come to my room, Mom."
Oh, okay, that's what it said. It said, "Come to my room, Marnie."
Oh, Marnie. Okay. Yeah. So I was a little confused, but
now you get it.
now I get it. It also kind of reminds me of what I talked about very briefly last week, was the movie Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
It's about this woman who marries this man, and they go to live in this mansion, but she's constantly reminded of the man's wife who passed away, and her name is Rebecca. So then it's like kind of like ghostly. She's there all the time in a ghostly type of way, and they're living in this giant mansion and everything. So it just kind of gave me vibes with that, and also gave me vibes of the game Life is Strange. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
I can't really explain what the vibe is, like how it's similar, but I think like Anna reminds me of Max, the main character in Life is Strange, and this whole storm silo thing. And Life is Strange revolves around a big storm that destroys a town. And I don't know, it's just like something, and the music, I think it just is calm and peaceful, and they're walking around, and it's like a beautiful scenery. But yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to mention that because in case anyone else feels the same.
That's awesome. Does it deal with lesbian romances or time travel?
Yes. Maybe that's why.
Okay.
Well, so the second Life is Strange deals with lesbian romances. The first one does not really. But the whole thing is like, you're Max, the main character, and she has the power to like rewind time and go back and fix things. So kind of, yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool game.
I mean, that's funny that it has both of those things in it though. Like that's just
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like some account on Twitter or something that's like every frame a painting, and it's like shots of movies. That's literally this movie though. Like every single frame you could hang up on a wall, and it would just look breathtaking.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I said this earlier, but I found the actual quote. Marnie says, "Nan locked me in the room, so there won't be any midnight rose for a few nights." So that's like why she's gone for the week, because there's that week when Anna doesn't see her.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's just like the dancing scene is just so precious. First of all, Marty's dad kind of looks like Fred from Scooby-Doo a little bit.
Yeah, I can see
like
it.
in design. Like the OG, like the Fred from like the original series from like the 60s.
Yeah.
But then he like gives her wine, and she's feeling a little tipsy, so she goes outside and sits at the table. Well, before that, she sees Marnie dancing with Kazuhiko and gets a little jealous. And then she goes and sits outside, and then when Marnie comes out, like, she has that reaction that we've all had when somebody that we're interested in is like spending time with somebody else in like a in that kind of manner. So she's basically just like, "Oh, who was that?" But she says it in like a
Yeah, like, so who was that?
yeah, exactly. And then Marnie's just like, "Oh, that's just a friend of mine. We've been friends for like ever because our families know each other." And then she's like, "Hey, we should dance." And Anna's like, "I don't know how to dance." And Marnie's like, "That's okay." And then they just start dancing, and it's the most precious thing ever. And I love it, and I live for
It's
it.
cute.
Either way you look at it, it's just such a beautifully introspective, reflective, kind of therapeutic type movie. And it's really, I'm glad that we talked about it because it's one that I wanted to talk about at some point. And I'm glad I got to rewatch it because I forgot like how much I really do love it. And on both sides of the coin, both the sub and the dub, the voice actors and actresses do such a good job.
They do. Yeah, I wasn't sure like if I was gonna like it as much a second time, but I totally did, and maybe even more than the first time. And I found it online somewhere, so if you want to watch it online, you just gotta search like When Marnie Was There English subbed
Or dub.
or dubbed. And because it's you can't rent it on Amazon. You might be able to rent it on, I think it was on HBO Max or something, right?
Yeah, it's on HBO. I believe I think all the Studio Ghibli movies are on HBO Max.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is great if you have HBO, but I don't, so
Yeah.
woe is me, I guess.
Me either.
Which is, it's actually really great because they haven't been on streaming before this because, of all the rights entanglements and all of that junk, so that part's great.
That is really cool. Gotta watch some foreign movies, everybody.
Yeah, and this is a good one to start with because it's very dialogue driven. So you can either watch this or you can watch Parasite. Like you're gonna get a great experience out of it.
Oh, Parasite.
Parasite is incredible. I love Parasite.
God, that's my favorite movie right now.
They put it out on the Criterion Collection, and that version comes with the movie, obviously, but also comes with a black and white version, kind of like how Mad Max Fury Road did. And I wonder how it would. I wonder how it would be. Like, I'm kind of curious to see it.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Mad Max in black and white, though. I don't think that really fits.
Yeah, exactly. And the only other one that I know of was Logan. Logan was also had a black and white version.
I can see.
Yeah. Mad Max Fury Road is just so based in its color and not just like in the color timing and the aesthetic. It's like it'd be cool to see it in black and white, but I feel like it would be more of a negative than a positive.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Because that apparently was the director's original intention, and then that's why they got to really. There's like a Blu-ray that has like both versions on it. So.
Huh. Interesting.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad they put it in color though.
Yeah, me too.
I have that movie now. I need to watch it again. I forgot I had that in my collection.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, me either.
It's really good though. It's the only Mad Max that I've seen.
Yeah, me too. Well, I've seen part of the original, like Thunderdome or whatever it's called. Is that what it's called?
Okay, so it's Mad Max, and then the second one's called The Road Warrior, and then the third one is Beyond Thunderdome.
I just saw like a scene of Mad Max in the Thunderdome. That's all I
couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you if that's all the movies or just the third one. I have
no idea.
I've seen the Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. The song at the end of When Marnie Was There is also really good too. Apparently the person who wrote it, she didn't really sit for a while because it was really personal to her. And then when the movie came out, she's like she saw the movie and really resonated with Anna. So, and the song is it's in English. It's the same for both the Japanese and the English versions. So,
yeah, it's a good song.
And also, just for clarity, there's no other than the language being different. There's really no like differences any major differences as far as I could tell between either version. So, because that's the landscape of anime has totally changed in the last even 10 years, so
yeah,
10, 20 years. I say that like I know it, but I didn't start watching anime until during that time period. So well, I didn't watch it as much as I do. Like I saw some when I was a kid, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, even just from the first time I saw this movie, it just had this effect on me where I'm like, I kind of relate to both Anna and Marnie, but also like I just love the atmosphere of the movie and the location, and it's just and I do love the connection between the characters, even if it's different than what you think when you see it.
Yeah.
And I think we did say this, but even on rewatch, it just still has this romantic angle to it, and it's just really beautiful and well done.
I agree. Very good.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to say about it? Do you know of any other similarities to The Boy Who Could Fly?
No.
Other than both have mystical, fantastical elements, and it kind of also ends in a similar fashion?
Kind of does, yeah. But nope. I think you hit them all.
Okay.
Did you watch anything other than this?
Oh, I did.
Oh, boy.
I watched a movie. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called Vampire's Kiss, starring Nicolas Cage.
Hell yeah.
Unfortunately, it was on YouTube, like free with ads. So it was like the official MGM account or whatever. But the version I saw, I think it was edited for TV because there was a lot of fade to blacks, and and then it was like 10 minutes shorter than what it said it was on IMDb. So I unfortunately don't think I saw the whole movie. But my God, Nicolas Cage in that movie is like top 10 movie performances of all time.
Oh my gosh,
he literally
I wanna
stands
see
on
that.
a
I'm gonna
he
watch
literally
that now.
stands on a desk and he's like, "There you are." And then there's a scene when, of course, he recounts the alphabet, and it's the greatest way to ever learn the alphabet ever. I had a rough day at the office. Well, unless someone could have misfiled it. Misfiled.
Oh my gosh.
How can you misfile something? You just put it in the right file. And then he goes through the entire alphabet, and then he's just moving his arms, and it's beautiful. It's cinema. I mean, when Marnie Was There gets me feeling kind of emotional, like at times, but then Vampire's Kiss, that's like peak cinema.
Is he a vampire?
That's the whole point of the movie. They make it abstract.
Okay, good.
But then there's a scene, I kind of don't want to tell you, but there's a scene when he runs down the street shouting he's a vampire, and it's the greatest thing.
Oh my gosh. I have to watch it.
I was hoping for something like Sleepwalkers. I didn't quite get that, but I think I think what happened was I saw Sleepwalkers first, and it's the best insane movie ever, and then every insane movie after it just doesn't compare.
Can't top it.
No. Apparently, not on the copy I have, but apparently there's a release of Sleepwalkers that has a commentary with like the two main actors and the director, and I'm like, shit, I want to listen to that.
Ooh.
And then there's like behind the scenes interviews with them, and then there's one when they talk about like, here's what we would do for a sequel, and I'm like, I must hear your thoughts.
Oh man.
Guy from Charmed and Shelley from Twin Peaks, I must hear your thoughts. I need to know if our ideas for Two Sleep, Two Walker like connect. So.
Oh man.
So I might buy that movie again sometime. Go watch When Marnie Was There because it's an actual good movie, but then go watch Sleepwalkers because it's an actual great movie.
Yes.
And then Vampire's Kiss. A B C D.
Did you watch anything else?
How can I watch anything else after that classic?
I don't know.
like You Don't Say meme with his wide eyes. That's from this movie too.
Oh, okay.
What did you watch this week? Did you watch anything?
I did. I watched Knocked Up for the first time.
Okay.
I had never seen that, surprisingly. And I think
That
it
is
was because it
surprising.
came out when I was still at the age when I wasn't allowed to watch movies like that. So then I just never did because I thought it was like really raunchy and like, I don't know, one of those movies that I'm just like, all right, like Adam Sandler or something. But I watched it and I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love like the way it's directed and everything. Judd Apatow does a great job. There's like so many good actors in it. The whole storyline is just so sweet. It was really good. I recommend it if you haven't seen it, but you probably have because it's Knocked Up.
I actually have not seen it. No, I have
You haven't
not.
seen it? It's on Hulu.
I don't have Hulu, remember?
Yes, I remember.
I have not seen it, and I've heard good things about it. Would you say it's on the level of Superbad? Or do you think they're not comparable?
No, yeah, on the same level. I mean, it's not as... I think Superbad is more raunchy and more comedy. This is basically a romantic comedy, but I just like that. I think Judd Apatow writes it so well, Like, you would expect that it was written by a woman because he writes Katherine Heigl's characters so well.
Judd Apatow said something that was akin to, like, any projects I write that use actors from Freaks and Geeks, in my head canon, it's the same characters since, the show got canceled after season
Aww.
1. Which, I mean, here we go, yeah. When series producer Judd Apatow told Vanity Fair in 2012 that whenever he sees an opportunity to use anyone from the show, he does. It's his way of refusing to accept the show was canceled, and that all of his subsequent movies are the continuous adventure of those characters.
Aww.
Which I love. He also said in 2014, everything I've done in a way is revenge for the people who canceled Freaks and Geeks. Which, I mean, I don't blame him, because it's like one of the greatest shows ever made. Go watch Freaks and Geeks if you haven't. I think it was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is.
I don't think it is.
Which is unfortunate. Very, very good series. Yes, did you watch anything else or just Knocked Up?
That's it.
Okay.
What should we watch next week?
Oh boy. Okay, let me see. Real quick, I'm gonna go to our Spotify and see. Also, follow us on Spotify. Download our episodes. Shameless plug, but hey, that's why we're here.
Yes, we've got Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Google Play, Stitcher, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What's the other one that's big?
YouTube.
Oh, yes, our YouTube channel.
But yeah, so it's we're gonna watch 12 Angry Men. It is on YouTube. Go home and watch it. It's very good.
I'm excited to see it. It's intriguing. It sounds intriguing.
It's a very dialogue-driven film, but I often find those are very good ones, like Social Network or Dazed and Confused.
All right. That's your prescription. Thanks for listening to another week of our therapy.
Thank you, as always.
Hopefully you can find this movie and watch it. I know some people aren't into anime, but this one's worth it.
For all of you who aren't into anime, just get into anime because there's so many anime that are better than all the live-action crap that we get today. Like, I know it's a complete generalization, but seriously. Okay, hang on. Let's see. What other movies came out in 2014? Let's just super quick. I'm going to go with the top grossing movies of 2014. Yeah, top grossing movie of 2014 was Transformers: Age of Extinction. This movie is a million times better.
Oh my God. Wow.
Interstellar came out that year. That was good.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah. Can't really.
Yeah.
Looking at my Interstellar poster right now.
I love Interstellar. But then we got shit like I don't know. There's probably a bunch of shit. But anyway, seriously, just go watch it. Marnie Was There. It's such a good movie. It's such a beautiful movie. Look at it whatever way you want.
Go call your grandma.
Oh God, no.